One of the most heartbreaking things about gardening is if you're in an arid area like this where you get very little rain, the soils become parched and you put things into the ground and they just simply die. Well, you're just about to see a garden that belongs to Evelyn Loseby. Now, this is what the house looked like when they bought it. Pretty grim, isn't it? Now, she has got today one of the most wonderful gardens you would ever see, and the question is, how did she do it? What are the tricks to growing a garden in a very dry, nasty area? By the way, the area is on the outskirts of Tamworth, New South Wales. Well, it is a wonderful achievement, Evelyn. Now, for everybody watching that's thinking, oh, you couldn't do that in a dry area, what are the secrets?
Mulching is very important.
What sort of mulch?
Well, loosened mulch I really like, but I would say any mulch that's available.
All right, so mulching, what else?
Choosing the right plants to start with. Silver foliage plants are always preferable for hardiness.
Oleanders are wonderful
well,
here.
They are.
They do so well. So how did you pick plants that were hardy? Just trial and error, or?
Well, seeing them growing in other gardens.
So walk around the block, visit your neighbours. Yeah.
As well as experimenting, finding out for myself just what does well.
Well, how on earth did you get an incredible collection of cacti like this?
Oh, over the years, my father grew a lot from seed, and I propagated them in the geranium house. What is now was cacti.
So it was a big passion?
It was at the time. I was very enthusiastic about them. I couldn't be interested in anything else but cacti at that time.
But?
Over the years, I've lost interest in them.
Really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't replace it, though, would you?
No, I feel a bit sentimental about them.
Oof.
And they are just such a feature of my garden that people know my garden as the garden with the cactus.
Well, I mean, if you're in a dry, arid sort of environment, I mean, this is wonderful. And you get quite a bit of colour, I notice, through them.
That's right. Some of them flower quite nicely.
And, of course, they're in raised beds, so they're going to get pretty, well, perfect drainage.
That's right. They do need the good drainage, which is most important.
And the obvious trick is, if you're going to use cacti, don't mix them with other things. Just put succulents and cacti together and leave them alone.
That's right. They look better that way rather than trying to grow anything else with them.
Yeah. And the new passion now is definitely roses.
Definitely the David Austin roses.
You like the David Austins?
Yes, yes.
What turns you on about them?
The lovely perfume and the prolific flowering, repeat flowering.
Now, what do you have to do to them out here to keep them good?
Well, they do get the usual problems with roses, black spot and aphids and thrips. I don't spray as regularly as I probably should, but I think you've got to learn to live with a few of those problems.
And irises, are irises good in the dry area?
They are, yes. They don't mind the dry weather at all.
Well, you've certainly got a sensational range of those. I mean, obviously, a lot of them yet to flower or whatever, but they're wonderful. What about water out here? Have you got much water?
We've got plenty of bore water, but that's nowhere near as good as the dam water, which we haven't got, but our dam is empty.
So, when you use the bore water or even the dam water, are you getting sort of build-ups of things in your soil?
We do. You can see it affecting the foliage and the plants. They become stunted. They just don't thrive. Like you can see a difference when you're watering with dam water.
So you're sort of damned if you do and damned if you don't. In other words, if you don't water, you have a dead garden. If you do water, you get a bit of a build-up of problems.
That's right.
And if all else fails and it's very dry, bung in cacti. I take it you virtually never water these, would you?
I don't. No, never.
Well, they look good to me.